Hello guys, welcome back to the third video in our building API with FastAPI series. So in this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and actually deal with sending the emails. So last tutorial, we were able to register users, and the user information was saved inside of our MongoDB database right here. So in this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and actually write the functionality to be able to send the user an email once the user has been able to register. So for us to be able to do this, we're going to be using this library called FastAPI-mail, and I'm just going to go ahead in the installation. So you can just go ahead and search for FastAPI-mail. I'm also if you want the link to this description, I can just let it give it to in the comment section. You just let me know. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually copy this, which is a Pip Install FastAPI-mail. So I'm just going to copy that and simply go inside of my terminal and paste that there. So make sure your virtual environment is activated before running this code, because before running this command, because we don't want this to clutter our global Python environment dependencies. And by the way, all our other dependencies are already in the virtual environment. So once we have that done, let's actually see what we need to do. Let's click on get started and actually read the documentation a bit. So yeah, we need to provide a couple of configuration, which is all these settings right here, in order to be able to send that email. So to do this, I don't want to keep my information on any server or push it to any repository. So I have written via an env file, and I have passed in all that. So you need providing the email user, the password, the mail password, the mail from, the mail port, the mail server, and the mail from name. Okay, so I'm going to leave all this inside of my virtual environment, and I'm going to fill it in. After that, I'll continue recording. Also, one thing you have to do is that also allow less secure apps on your email that you're going to use here, because if you don't allow less secure apps, then it wouldn't work. So allow less secure apps for this to work. So go to your email settings, and then go to I think security or apps and stuff like that, and click on allow less secure apps, because you need that for this to work. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill this and then resume, because I don't want you guys to see my information. Yeah guys, I'm back. So you can see that has already installed, and also we need to install Python Multipath for this to work. So you just need to say pip install Python Multipath. Okay, so install that. Sometimes it skips to install it, so just go ahead and actually install Python Multipath, and that should be done. So once we have all that done and all that set up, we can go ahead and actually begin to code. So it actually says Python install. Let me get it right. Install. There's a double L here, and then simply press enter, and that should install for us the Python Multipath, and that should handle some stuff. So instead of my VS Code, I'm just going to go back inside of my VS Code, and in my root directory, I'm going to go ahead in my API directory. I'm going to go ahead and create this, and we could call it send mail. Okay, we can just call it send email. So send mail, so an email.py, just like that. So once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and import OS. I'm also going to go ahead and import from FastAPI. So I'm going to say OS. Now that you have that imported, I'm just going to go ahead and create something. I'm also going to import the .env. So from .env, I'm going to import load env. So load env, and I'm going to say load env, and call it here load .env. So just that, and I'm going to call this function right here. So once I have that specified, I can just go ahead and perform the following action. So I'm going to say class, and this class is going to be called, I'm going to call it envs, right, our environment variable. So I'm going to simply say mail underscore mail username, and the mail username is going to be os. Let me just say os os.get env. So os.get env, and I'm simply going to get the env of the mail username. So mail underscore username right here, and this is going to be from my environment variables folder. So my env folder, I can show it sadly because it has my information in there. So I'm going to say password, and this is going to be os.get env, and this is going to be mail underscore password. Okay, so the mail password, and then I'm going to also have the following. So I'm going to say mail underscore from, and this is going to be os.get env, and this is going to be mail underscore from, and then you're also going to have the mail port. So mail underscore port, the port in which to send the email, and it's going to be os.get env, and then this is going to be mail underscore mail port, and the mail port for Google is actually, I think, is is 587, or you can just actually Google that. I think it's 587. Yeah, I think it's 587. You can just Google that and find out. So the mail port should be 587. The from should be your email. The pass should be your password. The username should be your Gmail account. Okay, so the username should be your Gmail account, and this should be filled inside of your env folder. Okay, so the Gmail should be, the username should be your email account. The password should be your password. The from should be your Gmail account. The port should be 587. Okay, and then you also need to go ahead and specify the mail server, and the mail server for Google mail server, and the mail server for Google is going to be the mail server for Google is mostly smtp.gmail.com. okay, so mail underscore server. So in your VNV file, you have to say mail server equals to smtp.gmail.com. okay, so this is going to be an SMTP server. So I'm going to say say ahead and say mail underscore from underscore name, right? And this is going to be the following. So I'm going to use again, you can use your email here. I just use my email. Okay, so just use your email and that should be fine. So mail, and this mail from underscore name. So instead of your env file, say mail from name, and this should be your email address as well. Okay, so once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and say config, create a config variable. So config, and all this detail is inside of the official documentation for the FastAPI send mail. So you can see all that information right here. So you can actually go ahead and read all that information from there. Okay, that's where I got all the information from. So once I have that done, I'm going to say connection. So I actually need to import something from FastAPI-mail. Okay, so I actually need to go here and say from FastAPI-mail. I'm going to say import. I'm going to go ahead and import the following. So this FastAPI_mail. I'm going to go ahead and import. I'm going to import the following. So I'm going to go ahead and import FastAPI-mail. I'm also going to go ahead and import message scheme, and I'm also going to go ahead and import connection config. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say connection config. So I'm going to say connection config, and connection config is going to be the following. So I'm going to go ahead and say the mail underscore username, mail underscore username, and the mail username is going to be our class dot mail underscore username. So mail username, just like that. So this is going to be actually envs. Okay, so just make sure I have it in the envs. Okay, and here there's no. Okay, just like that. And then I also need to go ahead and specify the mail underscore password. So the mail password is going to be our env. So I'm going to say envs dot mail password. Okay, just get the mail password, and I'm also going to go ahead and specify the mail. This is going to be the mail from mail from, and this is going to be envs dot mail from, just like that, from dot mail from, just like that. And then I'm also going to go ahead and specify the following. So this is going to be mail port, so mail underscore port, and the mail port is going to be envs dot mail port, so mail port, this one right here. And then I'm also going to say the mail underscore server. So the mail server is going to be envs dot mail server. So get the mail server for me. And then I'm also going to say the mail underscore from name, so from name, and this is going to be envs dot mail from name, so mail from name, just like that. And yeah, that's basically what we need. And we can also specify other settings. So we can say mail underscore TLS, use TLS, and we're going to say this is going to be true, but because we want to use a TLS. And then you're also going to go ahead and specify the mail SSL, just for some security. Mail SSL, and mail SSL you're going to say it's going to be true. You're going to use mail SSL. So actually this is going to be some false, because you're using TLC, so you don't need an SSL. Okay, so we're going to say user underscore credentials Actually, I use underscore credentials, and this is going to be we can just say use credential is going to be true, just like that. And you can say also template, and the templates folder, or which directory we can find the templates. So the templates folder is going to be the following. So it's going to be a string. We're going to say API. So API / you're going to call it templates. So we're going to create a folder called templates, and inside of our templates folder, that's where we're going to keep all our template, because we're going to be using HTML to send this. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder in here, and I'm simply going to call that folder templates. Okay, so I'm going to call it templates, right here. So I'm going to call it templates, and that's what you're going to refer to here. So API/templates. Okay, so you have to use this part, right? So once we have that done, I'm going to go ahead, actually this way we actually send the email itself. So I'm going to have a synchronous function here. So I'm going to say async, and it's going to be def, and it's going to be send underscore registration underscore email. So send underscore registration email. So registration mail. Okay, let's call it registration mail. And what we need the subject, and it's going to be of type str. We also go ahead and say the email too. So email underscore to, and this is going to be an str. So str, we can also use this email string from Pydantic, and then we're going to say the body, and the body is going to be of type a dictionary. Okay, so we're going to say dict. So yeah, that's all we need. And once we have that, we can go ahead and send the email. So we're going to create a message, and the message is going to be a message, and it's going to be the message scheme that we have, the message schema, and then we're going to pass in the following. So we're going to say subject, and the subject is going to be the subject that we want, which is going to be the subject we got from the arguments. And then you also want the recipients. Recipients can be a list of just email to, because we are going to send to only just one person, right? One recipient. And then also we're going to specify the template body, and the template body is just going to be a body that we have there. And then I'm also going to go ahead and specify the subtype, and the subtype is just going to be HTML, because we're going to be setting a HTML template. So that's all we need. After that, we can just go ahead and say fm equals to FastAPI-mail equals to the FastAPI-mail instance, just like that. And then we can just go ahead and decide the config. So we need to initialize this with the config that we have, and the config is what we have set up right here. So once we have that done, I can simply go ahead and simply say await. We are going to await this process, and it's going to say fm.send send message, and the message is going to be the message that we created. So message is going to be message, and we can also go ahead and specify the template name. So template name, and the template name is just going to be email.html. So we're going to say email.html, and email.html is going to be the email file that is going to, so we're going to keep in our HTML file. So I'm going to go in here and then just create that. So I'm going to call it email.html file. And instead of this, you're going to go ahead and actually fill the HTML content in here. Just to save time, I'm not going to go ahead and go through all the HTML stuff with us in this tutorial. So I'm just going to go put it on my GitHub page. You guys can find it there. So I'm just going to go to my GitHub page, which is the project the repository, and it's online, it's available. So I'm going to go into my templates, and instead of my templates, I'm going to copy that template and simply use it. So if you guys want access to this repository, let me know in the comment section below. I'll drop the link for you guys. So once it's loaded, I'm going to go into my email section, and I'm going to simply grab the code from here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the code from here. So copy that, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste it in here. So one thing let me explain to you that is that FastAPI-mail uses a Jinja2 template. So I just wrote the HTML in here, and you can see I have some name, which is this one right here. I have some Jinja2 title and all of that stuff, right? So I have some Jinja2 stuff here, and the name is going to be also the email. So whenever I send the message out, you're going to pass in the title, and also going to pass in the name, which we can access from here. We're going to pass all of this inside of the body. So let me just go and go ahead and show you how we can use this. So I'm just going to copy this right here. So I'm going to copy this and go back into my users. So I'm going to say from .send email. I'm going to go ahead and import that. Okay, so yes, so we need to send the email. So I'm going to simply paste it here, and you can await on this process. So await, can await on that process to get completed, and then you simply go ahead and send the email to that specific person. So await this process, and we need to call this function. So we need to call this function, and one of the things we need to provide is the subject, right? So we need to provide in the subject, and the subject can be equals to the following. So the subject, you can just say registration. Just delete this, and we're just going to say, I think we have an issue here. It says that any registration mail is not defined. So registration. Okay, let me just go in here and see remember what I called it. I think I called it yeah. So I'm going to copy this and simply go inside of my users, and then from .send email, I'm just going to go ahead and import it here. So once I have that imported, I can just go ahead and use it here, and then call that function. So I need to go ahead and provide in the following. So I'm going to say registration successful. Okay, registration successful. That's going to be the title. You also need to go ahead and provide in the email that you want to send this to, and this is going to be equals to the user underscore info, user info, and you're simply going to get the email address of that specific user. So I'm just going to clear this up, and also you need to go ahead and pass in the dictionary, which is the body, right? So I'm going to pass in a dictionary, and the first one is going to be the title. So title, and the title is just going to be registration successful. So this actually needs to be a string, so I'm going to put this inside of double quotes. So once we have that done, that's all I need, and I'm also going to pass in the name of that person. So I'm going to comma, and then I'm going to pass in another name, and this name is going to be user underscore info. I'm going to get the name, right? So name right there. So that's all we need. So inside of our Ginger 2 template, you're going to access the title and the name, and that's what you're going to be accessing this using title and the name part right here. Yeah, so that's all we need to make this to work. So yeah, that's all we need, and to make sure everything is okay. Yeah, so that's all we need. So let's actually go ahead and try this out. For some reason it says that cannot find this. Let me actually go ahead and delete this to do part, and it says that send email is not defined. So let me just go ahead and do a quick fix and see what suggestions I get. Let me just delete all of this, and I'm going to say send mail, from send mail import this one right here. Yeah, that should be done. I don't know what I did previously, so I'm going to say from the send mail, I'm also going to go ahead and import this right here and use it here. So I need to pass in the subject, the email to, and then the body, and the body is a dictionary that contains these keys that we can use inside of our template right here. So that's all we need. So let's go ahead and try to register a user again, and let's see how that works. So I'm going to go inside of my my front end here. Let me just actually make sure that my server is running. So I'm going to go in here, clear this up, and then simply start my development server again. So I'm going to make that run, and once that's run, we can access it inside of the browser. So I got an email here. It says that value is not a valid email address. So I got an error. So connection config mail from is not a valid email address. So let me actually just figure out my sort out my email. So I'm going to go into my env file and see what email I used. So I'm just not going to show you this part. Yeah, so I figured out the error that I didn't actually write my email properly. So I figured it out, and I started the application again. So let's go into the front end and test this out. So I'm just going to go in here and just simply click on refresh, and let's refresh the UI and see what we have. So we should still have the same route, which is this route right here. So let's just click on try, and let's try to register another. So let me just say John Doe, and this is going to be 1 because it must be different, right? In the email, we'll say 1 at Gmail. Okay, let me actually use my test mail. So let me just go in here and try to get the temp email. So I'm going to say temp mail. So if I can use a temp mail, so temp mail are just parts where you can get emails and use it for free without actually having to have an actual email address. So I'm going to be using a temp mail to try to test out this functionality. You're going to simply go ahead. I'm going to say test user. So let me just delete this and simply say test user. So I'm going to simply say here test user, and you're going to get the email of that user and use it here. So I'm going to go into my temp mail, and I'm going to grab a simple test mail. So yeah, give me this email. I'm simply going to copy this email and simply use that right here. So I'm going to delete all the email that I got. So I'm going to paste it right here. So once I have this, I can just click on execute this, and this is going to get executed. So we got back an internal server error. So let's see what the error basically is. So let's go ahead here and try to see. So name check exception raise connection to smtp.gmail port. So let me just, I think I made an error with the port. So let me just search that out. So let me just go smtp.gmail. So in here I can just search for it here. So yeah guys, I actually found out the error. I actually said SMPT instead of SMTP, so I'm sorry for that error. So I went ahead and solved that error inside of my config files. So here we can go ahead and actually try this out one more time. So I actually need to actually get a new email because that email will have already been used. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that email and get a new email address. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a new email address, and I'll use that new email address to create the account, and an email should be sent into this inbox right here. So let's just get this copy. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that new and paste it in here. So paste it in here. So once I have that done, I can simply click paste it in here. So once I have that done, I can simply click on execute. So it tells me the username already exists, so I need to actually change the username already exists. So I need to actually change the username right here. So we skip one, and then I can just click on execute, and that shows that it actually checks the username, and if the username already exists, we get the username already exists. So we can get back the username as the user has been created, and there is a username of that person. So we can actually go back into our email right here, and let's see if you get an email. So I got back an email from my email address, which is this coding shack, and if I open it up, I can see I have that that email being sent here. So you can see registration successful. Hi user, welcome to the community. Your user registrations. Yeah, so that's how we can send to a person using. So make sure that it is SMTP and not SMPT. Okay, sorry for that error. And also make sure and not SMPT. Okay, sorry for that error. And also make sure that you follow everything that I have mentioned in this tutorial. So yeah, that's basically how you can send an email to a person, and you have done the user registration and sending the registration emails to that user, right? So everything is done, and everything works as we expect it to. So that's all for this tutorial. If you guys enjoyed it so far, like the video, drop a comment in the comment section below, and share this with anyone who you think might find it helpful. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Keep safe.